What is going on, guys, and welcome back to Baker's DIY Lifestyle. So in today's video, we are back outside working on our 2008 Ford Expedition, which you have seen in a few different videos, and I will link the playlist at the top of the screen that goes over all of the different things we've had to do this Expedition since I bought it. But today what we are going to be focusing on is replacing the rear shocks. So as we have been using the Expedition to tow our big 7x16 work trailer for the business, we have finally blown out one of the shocks, which this bad boy does have 200,000 miles on it. It's actually got about 210,000 on it now. But some of this stuff is going to start breaking and needing repaired. So one of the things I wanted to do on the back of this truck was go ahead and put some better shocks that are lifted just a little bit, so when we're hauling the trailer, we're not sagging so much in the rear, but also to kind of level it out with the front, because one of the reasons I liked this truck whenever I bought it was it did come with a 2-inch leveling kit up front. So our shock of choice is going to be this Rancho QUICKLIFT system. It's a pretty cool system, and they have them for a lot of different vehicles. So when you go on Rancho's website, you can plug in your vehicle and it'll tell you exactly how much lift these things will give your truck. Now, don't quote me on this because it's been a minute since I've looked at this, but I believe the back is a 1/2 inch lift and the front is like 1.25 inches of lift on the Expedition. And when you pull the shock out of the box and compare it to the stock one, the height is pretty much the same. So I think the lift is coming from just a little bit stiffer of a spring in the back. But the other cool thing about these shocks that I really like, and one of the reasons I bought it, is because of the adjustable dampening that these shocks have. So there are 9 settings on here, and they go from 1 to 9. All you have to do is twist this little knob and you can change your dampening, which for us hauling the trailer is going to be really nice, because anytime I unhook the trailer, if I know I'm going to take the Expedition, say on a longer road trip to the beach or out of state or something like that, I can just reach under the truck, click down the dampening a little bit, and it'll soften up the ride, but we'll still have the lift. So with the dampening turned all the way up, it'll help when I'm towing the trailer. I won't have as much rear end sway. It'll keep it a little bit more planted, and hopefully it'll just drive overall a lot stiffer. So the only thing that I can't do putting these shocks on is measure how much of a lift that I actually get, because the right rear shock on the truck has blown out and it's sagging just a little bit more than it normally would. Again, the springs will hold it up, so it's pretty close to stock. But I'm excited to get these things on and see how it looks and how it rides, because we have been driving this thing for probably 3 months with a blown out shock, and I should have replaced it a long time ago. But honestly, every weekend gets busy. We get more work coming in, we do stuff with the kids, and I have just not had enough time to do it. So the other thing I'm gonna do while I'm under the truck replacing the shock is replace the rear lower control arm. And I will show you that as well, because the bushing and the ball joint, of course, also has 200,000 miles on it. And although the control arm itself is not bad, you can buy the arm with the ball joint and the bushing already pressed in. It's just so much easier just to take the bolts out and swap it out. So that is the option that we're gonna go with. But with that, I'm gonna start working on it, and I will talk our way through the repair of the truck, and then we'll get back at the end and take it for a test drive. Alright guys, so we have gotten to the point where it is time to take off our shock. So as you saw in the video, getting that bottom control arm off is pretty simple. Just have those 3 bolts. The only thing you'll have to fight with is knocking that ball joint out, which if it's not as rusty as mine, it will probably be a lot easier. But the thing that stinks about these Fords, and they actually did a decent job of making everything accessible except for one bolt, and I'm going to try to get the camera in here where you can see it and see exactly what I'm talking about. So you'll see right here, you can see the top of your strut. There's one nut there, there's one nut over on the left, And then the other one, let's see if we can get it in the camera. I believe you can barely see the tip of the bolt in the very back behind the center of the shock. So that one in the very back is right beneath a piece of the body. So you cannot use the closed end of a wrench. So what I would recommend you get for this job, if you don't have one, is a 15 millimeter ratchet wrench. So this ratcheting end of the wrench will help you a ton. But the bad thing is you have to use the open side of the wrench for that last nut. So I'm gonna go through the steps of which ones to take loose, kind of how I did it to make it as easy as possible to get that last bolt out, and then your shock will drop to the ground and you'll be good. So the way I'm gonna tackle this is I'm gonna take this nut here and run it all the way almost to the very end of the shock. And I'm gonna leave that one just barely hanging, because at the end, I'm gonna take the other two nuts completely off. This nut will be my last one because it'll be the easiest one for me to grab the shock and hold it up while I'm twisting the nut off with my finger so that the shock doesn't just fall on the ground. So we're gonna go ahead and loosen this one. And then the other one kind of in the front on the left back here by my finger, if you can see it, we will go ahead and take that one completely off. We know we're not gonna need that one, and it's kind of hard to get to back there. So again, either one of those honestly would be okay, because you can get to this one back here. Just do it however you want to, but make sure you leave one of these nuts on just enough to hold the shock while you do that difficult back one. So I don't know if you can see it or not, but I've got this other nut on the back, like I say, just barely threaded on, so that whenever I start loosening the one that's really hard to get to, the shock will drop down just a little bit. It'll catch on that nut. We can take the back nut the rest of the way off, hold the shock, and release everything. And now that I've got the other two nuts off, I'm gonna raise this up where I can unscrew it with my fingers. Just kind of hold the shock. And the shock isn't terribly heavy, but you definitely have to be ready to grab it. All right, so there's the nut, and now the shock will just drop. Beautiful. All right, so now that the old shock is out, all you have to do is reverse this process. And what I did on the other side was I went ahead and reversed it just exactly the same as I took it apart. So I'll put the shock up in here. I will barely get one nut started, just enough to hold the shock, so that I can swing around and get that really hard one, because you have to put it on with the shock down before you tighten it. If you tighten the front two first and then try to get that nut on the back, that nut will not go between the body and the shock. It just won't fit. You have to put that nut on first and then start tightening and pull the shock up. All right, so once you get all three of those nuts put back up there, you can go ahead and do the reversal on that rear lower control arm. So that'll be a lot easier. It's not super bad to get on there. You just start with the ball joint, then go to the shock, and then jack it up into the center. So it's pretty straightforward, but I'll set the camera up so that you can see all of that going back together as well. All right guys, so that is it for this part of the install. We've got all of the bolts tightened up, and we've got everything kind of ready to go. So one thing that is good to remember on any vehicle you're working on, if you're working on a sprung part, meaning that if it moves when you place the vehicle on the ground, if it moves with the suspension, you always want to make sure you tighten the nuts and bolts with pressure on the suspension. So meaning the car is sitting all the way on the ground at ride height. So with all of the bushings, with the ball joints, with the nuts on the top of the shock, the way you can do that without having the wheel on is to go ahead and put the jack back up underneath the control arm, lift up this port of the vehicle, and that'll make sure that you have 100% of the weight on all of these components before you tighten them all the way. So now that we have everything on there and snug, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my jack and jack up just this corner of the vehicle where there's no pressure sitting on the jacks under the vehicle, so that I know all of the weight is pushing up. That way when I tighten this, you don't have to worry about it coming loose. Now again, it's always a good idea to check all this stuff, you know, 50 to 100 miles in. Just double check it. It never hurts to make sure nothing has bounced loose or moved since you've been driving it. But I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'll get my wheel and tire back on, and we'll be ready for a test drive. All right guys, so we have everything put back on. We've got the wheel torqued and we're getting ready to go on our test drive. So just looking at the truck, I can definitely tell that the back is raised up. So we're just gonna hop in and see how it feels compared to how it drove before. I can already tell, honestly, just from getting into the truck, that it's not just rocking back and forth, stepping on the running boards. So it's definitely a whole lot stiffer, and I think it's gonna ride a lot better. So one thing that I can tell immediately just driving down the entrance to our neighborhood is every little crack and bump in the road, I can feel the vibrations a whole lot more. And that is most likely because of the stiff dampening that I have it sat on. I probably could drop it down to like a 5 or a 7, and it would be a little bit closer to stock. But again, with hauling the trailer, I definitely want it to be stiff just to help control sway, help control sag, and just hopefully make the trailer drive even better. So with any suspension modification that you do, if you are changing out springs or a strut assembly and you're putting new stuff on, you are going to have a little bit of a break-in period where the springs will actually settle into position. So usually you lose about 1/2 inch, maybe an inch at most, just depending on what kind of suspension that you're going with, if it's a lift or stock or whatever. So I know I'm going to lose just a little bit of height once I drive this thing, and most likely as soon as I put the trailer on and get the suspension sagged down, it'll go ahead and settle in and the ride height will be exactly what it is. So I'm getting ready to go across a bridge right here that is terrible. Oh yeah. So that was night and day better. And again, since I have that dampening all the way up on 9, it felt like a rock. I mean, it's very, very stiff. So if you get these shocks, I would be very interested to see how they ride on a softer setting. But overall, I'm not upset with anything. I was hoping for a little bit stiffer ride quality from the factory, and that's exactly what these shocks have given me. And over time, of course, we'll see how the lift does. It'll definitely pitch the nose of the truck back, hopefully pretty level, the way it should be while I'm driving it. So overall, I'm not upset with anything. I think the Rancho shocks are a great option if you want just a quick, easy lift, or if you have an older vehicle that you're wanting to replace the shocks and struts on anyway. They're definitely I would say a good budget item. That again is going to give you a little bit of lift and not cost you any more money than really if you were going to replace your shocks and struts anyway. But with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something from it. If you have used these shocks before on a different vehicle, let me know what setting you're running and how you feel about the dampening on these things. If you think they're rough, you know, on any setting, or if you can notice a difference. I probably won't change these bad boys again unless I know I'm taking this thing on vacation, or I'm gonna have the trailer unhooked for a while. Or honestly, if it's not that bad, I might just drive on 9 all the time. But driving through this gas station right here where I'm going over all of the fill up caps in the ground and then bouncing out, the rear end's definitely stiff. But with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and please be sure to subscribe and like the video so that all of these videos get shared even more across YouTube. And with that, I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.